Two young girls in the forest are about to be attacked by bandits when they are rescued by a towering knight in shiny silver armor. Earlier, the knight, who is actually a gamer from Japan, had woken up in the body of his game character, a massive, 8 feet tall skeleton equipped with the finest armor, weapons, and an array of physical and magical abilities. Knowing his skeletal appearance would frighten people and make him a target, he decides to keep his helmet on at all times and adopts the name Ark, the name of his game character. In the first city he arrives at, he briefly spots a female elf before she vanishes. With no money, he tries to become an adventurer, but needs to earn a license by defeating 3 enemies. In the forest, he defeats a bull boar and an orc, and while searching for a third enemy, he sees bandits attacking a coach. He hesitates to get involved until he notices 2 young girls about to be attacked, and quickly eliminates the bandits. The girls are the noble Lauren Luvert and her maid Rita. While they rest, Ark discreetly collects all the valuables from the bandits before escorting the girls to town. With the bandits and the orc defeated, he earns his license and buys his first meal with the bandits' money. Realizing he might be stuck in this new world for good, Ark decides to enjoy starting his new life. Ark takes on a job to protect a young village girl named Marka as she gathers medicinal herbs. Ark is curious about why Marka is in such a hurry to get started, and Marka explains that she doesn't want her mother, Siona, who has become very protective since Marka's father died, to find out. They come across an injured kitsune, which Ark heals. The creature decides to stay with Ark, and he names it Ponta because of its fluffy tail. Siona learns that Marka has left the village just as hunters arrive with news of a dangerous monster in the forest. Marka leads Ark to a tree with valuable medicinal flowers, but they discover that the tree is now the territory of the monster, a basilisk. Fortunately, Ark has fought basilisks before in the game and quickly kills it. He asks Marka to keep this a secret to avoid drawing unwanted attention. He notices a magic ring on the basilisk, which shatters and disappears after the monster is killed. Ark returns Marka to Siona, along with a giant fanged boar for the villagers to feast on, and then leaves. Later that night, soldiers kill another basilisk, and come across the much larger corpse of the basilisk Ark killed. They observe that it was killed by a single strike with an extremely large sword and wonder who did it. Meanwhile, back in town, Ark and Ponta enjoy a feast. Ark takes a job to deal with bandits hiding in a forest cave, and he takes their treasure as loot. Meanwhile, it's revealed that the attack on Lauren Luvert was a failed assassination ordered by Lord Triton Dinto under Prince Dakers's command to destabilize the kingdom in preparation for war. Triton is also angry that his son, Udalan, is risking himself by leading their illegal slave operation. Back in the forest, a female elf sees Ark coming out of the bandit's cave and attacks him, accusing him of kidnapping elf children. She stops when she notices Ponta, recognizing it as a forest spirit creature. Since spirit creatures rarely trust mortals, she realizes Ark couldn't be a kidnapper. Ark offers to help, but she declines. The next day, while searching for her, Ark finds the kidnapped elves being tortured by Udalan and his men. The female elf kills most of the slavers, but is forced to surrender when Udalan threatens the children. Ark overpowers Udalan and protects the children, allowing the elf to kill the rest. Ark then frees the captives and heals their wounds with magic, much to the elf warrior's amazement. Though she finds it hard to believe that Ark is just an adventurer, she trusts him. She introduces herself as Arian Glenny's Maple. Arian receives a message that more enslaved elves have been found and asks to hire Ark's help. After Ark agrees to work with Arian, they travel to the town of Dinto, where they meet Arian's elf comrade Danka. Danka is immediately suspicious of Ark, but is surprised by Ark's ability to use teleportation magic and earn the trust of both Ponta and Arian. With hours to spare before their attack on the slavers' warehouse, Ark leaves to take care of some personal errands, which really means getting a meal in private. Arian confides in Danka about her feelings of failure as she was almost captured and had to be saved by Ark. She compares herself unfavorably to her older sister, Even. Ark buys food for himself and Ponta and hides in a deserted alley to remove his helmet and eat. As Ark, Arian, and Danka head out for their mission, a shadowy figure watches from a rooftop. Upon infiltrating the warehouse, they find all the slavers already expertly assassinated. Ark is thrilled to discover the assassin is a female ninja with cat ears, indulging his otaku enthusiasm. The ninja is surprised that Ark knows what a ninja is. Upon seeing Ponta, she realizes Ark is trustworthy and gives him documents revealing which nobles have purchased elf slaves, as well as the location of slaves kept by Lord Triton. She also shares that the elf slaves were not her main target, as her true goal is elsewhere. After freeing the elves, Danka is impressed by Ark's magical skills and trusts him enough to let him and Arian go alone to Triton's palace. Watching from a distance with a towering companion, the female ninja hopes to meet Ark again. After their attempt to sneak into the castle goes slightly wrong, Ark and Arian manage to capture Triton and Udalan. The 2 female elf slaves, who had been mistreated by Triton, take their revenge on him while Ark discovers a hidden stash of treasure. He decides to take the gold for himself, telling Arian that it's to prevent the slavers from using it to rebuild their operation. Suddenly, the palace is shaken by explosions, which Ark suspects were caused by the ninja. Arian invites Ark to visit the elf lands so they can continue rescuing slaves, though they will need permission from an elder elf for Ark to enter. Knowing he will need to reveal himself to the elder, Ark removes his helmet, showing Arian his skull face and explaining that his appearance is the result of a curse. Although Arian is initially shocked, she promises to keep Ark's secret and hopes the elder might know how to restore his appearance. In the capital city of Olav, King Karlon, his son Sekt and Dakars, and his daughter Uraerna decide to investigate the rumors of slavery, which would break the peace treaty between humans and elves. They plan to contact the elves, though both princes seem to have their own hidden motives. Uraerna suspects that Dakars is secretly involved in the slave trade, and that Sekt is plotting to expose him to strengthen his own claim to the throne. To ensure the contact with the elves goes smoothly, she reaches out to her sister Siriarna, who is married to the ruler of the Limbolt Duchy, the only territory currently trading with the elf lands. After a journey of several days, Ark and Arian arrive in Lalatoya, a vast elf settlement deep in the forest. Ark meets the elder Dylan and his wife Glenys, who are also Arian's parents. Dylan is thankful that the slaves were rescued but is concerned that their attack on Triton's palace has caused problems. He and Arian travel to the elven capital of Maple to update the other elders. Meanwhile, back in Lalatoya, Glenys tests Ark's strength by sparring with him to ensure he can keep Arian safe. Despite his high combat stats, Ark is repeatedly defeated by Glenys, which makes him realize that having strong stats doesn't always mean having skill. The elders, wanting to avoid war, decide to continue rescuing slaves quietly. Arian is surprised to learn that her older sister Even is getting married, as Even had always vowed never to marry. Ark decides to take a bath, but when Arian enters the bath naked and sees Ark in his full skeletal form, she panics and blasts him with magic. Dylan officially hires Ark to help Arian with the slave rescues, and tells him about a magic pool that might cure his skeletal appearance. However, this pool is only found near the Lord Crown, a spirit tree located in the territory of Dragon Lords, the most dangerous dragons in the world. Ark agrees to this payment. Later, when alone, Ark becomes curious about whether his appearance is truly cursed. He uses a curse-breaking spell on himself and is stunned to find that it gives him a human right hand. Ark's hand quickly turns back to bone, confirming that his appearance is indeed cursed. He and Arian set off for Olaf to track down the nobles who own slaves. They are warned by an innkeeper that haunted wolves have been attacking travelers. Meanwhile, Uraerna leaves Olaf to travel to Limbolt. Arian thinks about hunting the wolves, as a bridal veil made from their tail fur would make a great wedding gift for Even. The wolves do attack, and Ark notices that the pack leader is wearing a magic ring similar to the one from the basilisk. He destroys the ring, breaking the pack leader out of a trance. The leader then takes his pack and leaves peacefully. Ark believes that these rings are causing the strange behavior in monsters. While Arian works on preparing the fur of the slain wolves, Pontus senses danger and guides Ark to the scene of an attack on Uraerna's coach. They find that Uraerna, her maid Ferna, and her loyal guards have been killed by treacherous guards and assassins. The killers attack Ark, but his armor proves impervious to their weapons and magic, and he defeats most of them with unexpected help from the wolves. Ark uses a powerful rejuvenation spell to bring Uraerna, Ferna, and several loyal guards back to life before quietly slipping away. Seeing Ark while still half-conscious, Uraerna believes him to be an angel sent by God. Ark is troubled by the ethics of a spell that can bring people back from the dead, and keeps his actions secret from Arian. When they reach Olav, they see a young woman expertly defeating thugs, and Ark recognizes her as the cat-eared ninja. The ninja, Chiom from the Jinshin clan, is looking for her people who have been enslaved by humans. She asks Ark how he knows about ninjas, since the term was created by their great founder, a human named Hanzo. Ark realizes that Hanzo must have been another Japanese person who came to this world, and founded a ninja clan centuries ago. Chiom asks for their help, and Arian, as Ark's employer, agrees. Dakars is furious that the haunted wolves failed to kill Uraerna, and, fearing a revenge plot against him, is sent to a safe house by his subordinate Cetrian. Chiom requests that Ark and Arian attack the Etsat slave market in a very obvious manner to draw the city guards' attention away, allowing the ninja to sneak into other markets. Ark covers his distinctive armor with a cloak and a tribal mask. Chiom introduces Gomen, another ninja, and Ark realizes that Hanzo named himself after Hattori Hanzo and used names of famous ninjas as honorary titles. Gomen, who is as tall and strong as Ark, challenges him to a fight. They quickly discover they are evenly matched and become fast friends. Ark and Gomen launch their attack on the market guards from the main entrance, trying to outdo each other. However, they go a bit too far and end up getting trapped under falling rocks. Meanwhile, Chiom and Arian prepare their attack from the rear. When Dakars learns of the attack, he sends soldiers to protect the slave markets. Arian and Chiom start freeing slaves and taking out the guards. Gomen tells Ark to join Arian and Chiom while he holds off the incoming reinforcements. They quickly free the beast people but discover a cell full of dead slaves who were left to die because they were too old, injured, or sick to be sold. Ark teleports the survivors to safety, and then rejoins Gomen to finish off the soldiers and destroy the market completely. Once the destruction is complete, Ark and Gomen collect the bodies of the dead slaves for a proper burial, and Chium vows to improve her skills to save even more people. Meanwhile, Cetrine kills Dakares and reveals that he was working for Sect all along. Since Uriarna hasn't been found, Sect frames the dead Dakares for Uriarna's supposed murder, making himself the sole heir to the throne of Roden. Uriarna arrives in Limbolt and learns from Siriarna about Dakare's death. Realizing that Sect likely planned her murder as well, she decides to keep her survival a secret for now. Chium tells Arian that Dakares was working for the Holy Revlon Empire and had sent many elf slaves there. Arian and Ark decide to head to the Holy Revlon Empire immediately. In the capital city of the Holy Revlon Empire, Emperor Domitianus is impressed that Sect has eliminated both Dakares and Uriarna. However, he is more surprised that someone destroyed the rings he had sent Dakares, which controlled the wolves and basilisks. This subordinate confirms that Domitianus' agent, Fumba, is still working to destabilize Roden. In the desert beyond Roden, Fumba watches with a sneer as worm-like monsters burst from the sand and capture flying wyverns. After a thrilling encounter with a group of wyverns, Ark and Arian arrive at a village on the edge of the desert. Ark notices that Arian seems unusually nervous, and learns that slave trading of elves is legal in Revlon, which makes her worried about their trip. At the village tavern, an elf named Karsi Held introduces himself. He says he lives peacefully with the villagers and makes a living studying monsters. Karsi asks Ark for help in capturing some challenging monsters and offers a map of Revlon as payment. Arian struggles with the idea of getting along with the villagers, and that evening, after drinking wine, Ark finds out that Arian is both a lightweight drinker and a bad drunk. The next morning, Arian is angry to find out that her drunken behavior has led the villagers to believe she and Ark had spent the night together. Ark's comments only make the situation worse. Karsi plans to catch a sandworm using goblin carcasses as bait, while Arian is still suffering from her hangover and travel sickness. Suddenly, they are attacked by a sandworm that has grown much larger than usual, and only Ark is strong enough to defeat it. Another ring is found on the worm, but shatters and disappears after the worm is killed. Karsi tells Arian that he once hated humans, but learned to care for them. He reveals that Lambert, a duchy in Roden, is ruled by a human lord and his elven wife. Karsi fell in love with the wife after rescuing her from slavery, which makes Arian start to feel more hopeful. The worm's unnatural growth is found to be caused by Fumba, who has been feeding them and other monsters with slaves and kidnapped villagers on behalf of Emperor Domitianus. The Hydra attacks Ark, Arian, and Chium with its fiery breath, leading Fumba to think they have been destroyed. Fumba then sends the Hydra to destroy Kasich. In a flashback, we see that Fumba's clan elders thought he was weak and undisciplined, causing him to leave his clan and work for Emperor Domitianus. Ark uses his holy shield to protect everyone, and Arian, who is aware of Fumba's threats against the elves even while under the spell, vows to defeat him. They split up. Arian and Chium chase after Fumba, while Ark stays behind to handle the Hydra. Before the Hydra can reach Kasich, Ark summons the infernal demon Ifrit to fight it. Arian and Chium catch up with Fumba. Arian taunts him, making him angry enough to attack. As Fumba goes after Arian, Chium strikes him and damages the magical symbols that let him control monsters. Arian's fiery sword destroys Fumba's whip, and the flames consume him. With the Hydra weakened by Ifrit's attack, Ark throws it into the air, and Ifrit finishes it off with its flames. Meanwhile, Princess Uriarna meets with Elven Elders Dylan and Lord Fangus. They agree that the Roden Kingdom will take responsibility for the crimes against the elves, find the missing or enslaved elves, and protect elven lands. In return, the elves will support Uriarna's claim to the Roden throne. After hearing this news from Danka's Whispering Fowl, which means Arian's mission is officially over, Arian feels uneasy and unsure about the future. However, Ark and Chium reassure her. Sect is troubled by the news that Uriarna survived the assassination attempt and successfully negotiated with the elves. Uriarna reflects on her own future after her miraculous revival. Domitianus learns about the destruction of Fumba and his monsters. Chium sees Ark's unmasked face for the first time, and Ark decides to continue his travels with his friends. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.